Obviously, rotations are going to be different tonight, but a bright spot of last night was how that second unit has been playing. How happy have you been with them seemingly getting more comfortable playing together?
Yeah, I mean it's difficult. You got injuries, to starters, and then you're bringing starters back. Then you sign new players. So there's been that part has been difficult. But to your point, the good piece of that is their ability to gel and kind of find a rhythm together. Still like it when they don't have a break to slow it down and get something set up, which doesn't always work. But the point is they're playing basketball the right way most times. It's defense, it's rebounding, it's sharing the basketball, it's touching the paint. Those are really, really good things for us as far as what we're trying to stand on.
All right, that's Doug Christie right there. Let's take a look at the minutes distribution last night. How about Russ? Second most minutes, 31:02. DeMar, Malik, Domas. But that second unit, Drew, Keon Ellis, Neek Clifford. What do you make of the rotation so far, Morgan? And specifically, Keon, only 14 minutes last night.
Yeah, and I think for someone like Keon, he will see more minutes within his opportunities if he makes sure that he is not reaching in for that basketball. We saw that late on Jamal Crawford, and it's a tough matchup, sure, but don't get handsy with it. You got to stay disciplined. And not only that, on the offensive end, where can he just be super impactful? Make sure you keep putting yourself in the position to be in those catch-and-shoot situations.
Let me say this. I was a bench player back in the day.
No.
Yeah, so it was hard for me to. How hard is it, do you think, for players to come in and make an immediate impact, especially a guy like Keon?
Well, Kyle, sorry to break it to you too. I did start most of my life, but when I did get to the point, that I wasn't the starter, you're so right. Like, you only have so much time out there. Yeah. And with that pressure and that mentality, you have to make the most of it. But that's just by doing everything right without putting that pressure on yourself and still playing freely. And so for Keon, it's about just letting the game come to him in those minutes on the defensive end and offensive end.
All right, let's check out the Kings starting lineup brought to you by Ford. We know no Zach, no Malik tonight, still no Keegan Murray. So here's who's Doug Christie is carding out there. The backcourt of Schroeder and Westbrook, DeMar, Precious Achua, and Domas. What do you make of the Schroeder-Westbrook combination?
Hey, I like the energy from these guards from the start, right? Russ, is going to bring it. Dennis Schroeder, can he find his confidence with some of these guys there? We want to see the ball in his hands as well, so then he's making sure that he's getting things done. Russell Westbrook, make sure that you are just taking the right shots, not the first shots. Everyone else, though, Kyle, we've seen so many lineups this year, I'm ready for anything.
Right, exactly. Just come out to a hot start. We know that guy's going to be fired up. It's a special day for him. His 37th birthday tonight, exactly. So he's going to come out here trying to make a statement. Speaking of statements, let's get to the crossover. The best-dressed duo in the building, Mark Jones, Katie Christensen. They're ready for tonight's game. Katie, let's start with the birthday boy, Russell Westbrook, once again getting the start, this time alongside Dennis Schroeder in that backcourt.
We've seen so many different versions of this starting lineup, and listen, I don't think that's any indication other than the fact that there's injuries, and Doug Christie is kind of arranging things. It's like arranging the chairs on the Titanic, the deck chairs, right? Yeah. It feels like they're sinking, so they're looking for options, and it depends on who they're going up against. And I think that tonight, Russell Westbrook obviously has the experience. He's been in and out of the starting lineup for Doug. I expect him to come in and give what he gives every single night.
And with Schroeder and Westbrook both starting the backcourt tonight, we actually might get back to some of the tenets that Doug Christie had talked about at the beginning of the season about being able to pick up opposing dribblers a little further up the court, if not full court, at least three-quarter court, with a couple of guys that have very good defensive skills, at least on point of attack defense. So that's one of the benefits of seeing these guys, and it'll be interesting to see how Doug moves his guard rotation forward with those two guys starting.
Absolutely, and especially, talking about defense, the perimeter defense, and the defense as a whole, Katie. I mean, we saw it a little bit in that last game early on, but then you're not seeing it throughout four quarters. What do the Kings need to do tonight to make sure that it is the entire game for them defensively?
I mean, the difference between kind of mediocre teams and great teams is just consistency, whether you're talking about the defense or the offensive end. And, I think that consistency comes with time, with practice, with time on the court. with each other. And, you know, we talked about all the different starting lineups. A lot of consistency comes from familiarity with each other too. And listen, I thought the second unit did a really great job last night against Denver. They have a little bit more continuity with each other because they've spent the most time playing with each other. But other than that, it's been shifting and rotating in and out. So to me, I'm not panicking right now. I knew this was going to be a rough go of it to start with the strength of the schedule and with the injuries. I just want to see that they're making strides in the right direction every night.
All right, good stuff, guys. Good to have you guys back here on NBC Sports California. The national guys had last night, the local guys, the regional crew, we got it tonight. Mark and Katie, take it away.
All right, thanks a lot, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle, thanks for the last game of the homestand before they hit the road for 4 games. And after the last game, last night against the Denver Nuggets, head coach Doug Christie realized that the 28th rated defense in the league just not going to cut it. Here's what he had to say about the Kings' rather porous defense of late.
Offense?
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't nobody talking about offense. I mean, tonight was only 108, but on most nights we scoring enough points. It ain't about the offense. It's not about all. Them guys can score the basketball. There's a lot of people that can score the basketball. If we want to win, we need to focus on the defense. Period.
Well, it's going to be interesting when you talk about interior defense, rim protection. Those two guys are pivotal for Sacramento.
Absolutely, and I think that Precious has come in and done a really solid job in that starting lineup. We have to remember he has been here but for a blink of an eye. And Drew Eubanks, who I think from the very first game where he started in place of Domantas Sabonis, who was injured in Phoenix, he's done an excellent job with his rim protection. As you can see, he leads the team with 12 blocks.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the ledger tonight, the Atlanta Hawks come in here coming off one of their better wins of the season against the Los Angeles Clippers a couple of nights ago. In the vein of speaking about defense, Dyson Daniels might be, as I'm told by many people around the league, the best point of attack defender in the entire association.
And his length and anticipation makes him really, really special. He led the league last year in deflections. Listen, he's great at steals too. That is, you can't deny it. But to me, deflections is so important because it absolutely disrupts an offense. And if I'm remembering correctly, Keon Ellis was second behind Dyson Daniels, and I think he had like 200 more deflections than Keon a year ago. And that's what makes him special, is his activity and length.
He and Alexander Walker make it a formidable defensive backcourt. The birthday boy ready to point the Kings in the right direction tonight, trying to clip the wings off the Hawks when we come back to Golden One Center for the opening. Where are you from? Welcome everyone to 500 David J. Stern Walk in downtown Sacramento. Sacramento Kings hosting the Atlanta Hawks. First meeting of the season between these two teams as Sacramento tries to snap itself out of its odious 3-game losing streak before hitting the road for several games. As we welcome you inside Golden One Center, Mark Jones courtside along with Katie Christensen moments before the opening tip. Here's a look at the starting lineups tonight. Russell Westbrook getting the start with Dennis Schroeder in the backcourt, Sabonis, DeRozan, and a Jew on the front line, Levine out. Meanwhile, Johnson, Risa Shea, Porzingis on the front line for Atlanta. Dyson Daniels, runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year a season ago. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker rounding out the starting 5 for Quinn Snyder's Atlanta Hawks. A couple of Seattle area guys on the sidelines as the respective head coaches tonight. Snyder and Doug Christie from Rainier Beach High School and Quinn Snyder from Mercer Island. Doug watched Quinn, who was a few years older, growing up playing in high school basketball in the area. Let's take a look at Katie's Taco Bell tape.
Well, I think a big one tonight, a big key is going to be the defensive boards. The Kings are giving up nearly 17 second chance points per game. That has been a massive problem. It's about closing out that defensive possession with the boards. And then move the ball. Make sure that you're looking to really switch side to side, make that defense have to work. I'd like to see 30 assists tonight.
Ambitious number, but it can happen. We've seen it. Porzingis kicks it out. Alexander Walker Johnson sprays it out to Porzingis, and he laces the 3-ball to start the game. Porzingis has yet to play in a back-to-back this year.
And we know he can shoot that three-point shot. He's shooting only 30% on the season. That number is certainly not accurate. You have to get out and get a hand up against him.
Daniels getting the assignment in DeRozan. Nice splash by Sabonis. That rattles around, did a victory lap and fell home. And Sacramento on the board.
I like that little screen action to get a little short one for Domantas Sabonis.
Risache back out to Porzingis again. That one a little bit strong. A nice defensive rebound by DeRozan. Here's Russell Westbrook quickly. Sabonis, tough pass, never made it to Achua. The first turnover, Johnson pushes it the other way for the layup. Well, Jalen Johnson is one of the guys whose ceiling has yet to be realized. He was well on his way to most improved player of the year a season ago before suffering a shoulder injury.
Well, and obviously a very valued piece of this team. Last year signed a 5-year, $150 million deal to be with the Hawks, leading the team in scoring early on this season.
Out to Porzingis, little show and go. Back out to Alexander, one more. Daniels, line drive, no good, and it comes back the other way. No, it's going to stay at that end. Atlanta basketball. Hawks coming into the contest with a record of 6-5, 9th in the East. Coming off one of their better wins of the season against the Clippers. Alexander Walker with a quick pull, way off the mark. And here comes Westbrook. Touches the paint, got it blocked by Risache. Here's Alexander Walker, erstwhile in Minnesota. Risache wide open in the corner, and it rims out to Schroeder.
And you have to be really careful about paint touches with this team. They're incredibly long, Mark, so you might get deep inside, but they do an excellent job defending around the rim.
One more inside in heavy traffic. Sabonis able to finish. Boy, they were passing that basketball in a phone booth, Katie.
Trying to find a light at the end of the tunnel as Dyson Daniels gets all the way down to the rim.
Well, Daniels already one of the best defenders in the NBA. He's been working on his offensive approach. Here's Schroeder. Nice to see him get on the board early. He did not score in the previous game last night against Denver. Went 0 for 3 from the field in the previous game. Didn't score it much either. He's 1 of 19 coming in this one tonight.
He's struggled, but there the Kings get a break as a inbound violation against the Hawks. Get another shot at it.
Here's DeRozan. Checks into the office over Daniels. Johnson pulling the rebound. It'll be Sacramento basketball.
Kings getting multiple opportunities here. You'd like to see that in 3 possessions. They can find a way to score this ball.
Sacramento in the lower third in rebounding. Statistically, Schroeder had that rim out. There'll come a time sooner, hopefully rather than later, that Schroeder snaps out of his slump as Alexander Walker knocks down the 3-ball.
And you got to do a better job matching up in transition. They're not even really pushing the pace on that. You need to sprint back, make sure you're fanning out to shooters.
Sabonis working against Porzingis. Had it blocked. Sabonis struggles against length at times. Here's Johnson. Alexander Walker with another 3. That one rims out. And 2 guys on the same team couldn't corral the defensive board. It'll stay at that end. Atlanta basketball.
You know, one of my keys obviously was moving the ball, but it also means moving without the ball. If Domas gets the ball down low, you got to have multiple cutters. We know he is a ready and willing passer.
Alexander Walker being guarded by Schroeder. On the get action, retrieves it from Porzingis. Midi goes up, goes in, and 1 for Nickeil Alexander-Walker out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Cashed in during the free agency period this past July, leaving Minnesota for Atlanta. Here's why.
And that is just an unfortunate foul on Domantas Sabonis, who, as we know, last night fouled out against Denver. Very light, doesn't even really impact it, but he made contact with that arm as he went up. And so, you know, very important for Domas to try and stay out of foul trouble here this evening.
Alexander Walker, meanwhile, out of the gate quickly. leading the way for Atlanta. He's got 6. First game back after coming off of a back injury. Sabonis working off the elbow. Russ defers on the 3 and lays it in. Happy birthday, Russell Westbrook. 37 years old. Ricochet at the other end got the fortuitous roll.
Wow, the footwork and the size, nice finish.
Ricochet, the second-year pro out of France, averaging a little over 12 per contest.
He certainly grew a lot last year.
Sure did. Inside, DeRozan had it a little strong. Porzingis tried to bounce it off, but DeRozan went to his teammate. Here's Daniels. Johnson lines up the 3 ball, knocks it down, and Doug Christie calls an early timeout with Sacramento down by 10, 7:37 to go in the opening quarter. Second night of a back-to-back. Sacramento going to have to take a deep breath, turning 37 years young. Plays like he's 27. His fast twitch muscles have fast twitch muscles still. Hey, time now for our Pizza Guy's delivery of the game. 11 assists last night against Denver. Added 14 points for his 3rd double-double already of the season. Tonight getting another start.
Well, I think to your point about his fast twitch muscles, right?
Yep.
He still is so effective off the bounce and gaining an advantage and drawing defenders, and he distributes the ball so well, sees the floor. He really makes it easy for guys, and it was that second unit that really benefited from his play last night.
Okay, so Keon Ellis comes into the ball game for Dennis Schroeder. First substitutions for the Kings. Here's DeRozan behind the Sabonis screen. Out to Ellis. Alexander Walker ran him off the 3-point line. 1 on the clock. Gotta go. Got it off in time. No, he didn't. And that's a shot clock violation. Second turnover of the ball game for the Sacramento Kings.
Well, you definitely don't want to have a turnover like that coming out of a timeout after you have the opportunity to drop the play.
There's Daniels out top. Alexander Walker with 6 quick points, off to a good start. Ricochet knocks down the 3. Had a good summer playing for the French national team during Eurobasket. And in the words of Quinn Snyder telling me, he continues to get better game by game, minute by minute. Ball knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Kings basketball as Okongwu gets ready to come into the ball game for the Hawks.
And Ricochet is 20 years old. I mean, watching him a season ago, just in the short amount of time since the beginning of the season, we're not even a full month into the regular season yet, and you can tell that he has grown exponentially from where he was a year ago. And playing, in the off season as well with your, your home country team, it makes a massive difference as well in your development.
Clifford in the ball game as well. DeRozan working the baseline for the lay. Kings down by 11, approaching the midway point of this opening quarter. Daniels spins. Alexander Walker around the world. Okongwu with the finish inside. On the field, Alexander Walker looking very comfortable. This team doing it by committee a little bit more without Trae Young. Westbrook out to Clifford, open 3. Left that on the front rim.
The biggest difference without Trae Young is that they don't rely nearly as much on the pick and roll.
Yeah.
And they are just moving the ball and really sharing it well, and it completely changes the dynamic in terms of how you defend this team.
Yeah, they're a little bit more multiple at the offensive end. There's Quinn Snyder out of Mercer Island, Seattle. Doug Christie, when I asked him a question pregame, said he used to sneak into the arenas when he was a little bit younger. He's 4 years younger than Quinn, and watch him as a high schooler play basketball. Sabonis from the nail. Backs down Okongwu and draws the foul, earning a couple of free throws. Nothing has come easy in the last few games at the offensive end, Katie, for Sabonis.
Well, and you can see the padding that he's wearing there on that left rib cage area where he missed the game with a contusion. That happened in Denver on the last road trip, and my goodness, I mean, he's playing through a lot of pain, but he also is being collapsed on, and that's what I was saying earlier. You just got to move when he touches.
And now a quick word from California Community College.
I can put my future on a guaranteed path. Save money by starting at a California community college and transferring to a guaranteed saved spot at a four-year university. Learn about the associate degree for transfer and enroll today at icangotocollege.com.
Sabonis knocks down the second free throw. Westbrook picks up Daniels out front. Runs some pistol. Daniels gets it back. And it comes off to Sabonis with a grab and go. Westbrook behind the Sabonis screen. Why not? And Johnson clears. Long outlet to Daniels, who leaked out and smoked the layup. DeRozan might have gotten a piece of that. Clifford on the baseline. Got it. Neek Knight says hello. Johnson, contact, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Jalen Johnson. So Clifford doing it at both ends of the court.
The anticipation right there. He had his feet set. He knew exactly what was coming. But there you see the long pass to Dyson Daniels. Blows the bunny. And then Domantas Sabonis, one dribble, gets it up the floor really quickly. Kings able to score in transition.
Got a timeout on the court. With 5:01 to go in the opening quarter, Sacramento snatching back a little bit of that moment. Is the injury law firm. And they're debating as to whether this was a block or charge. Neek Clifford called for the block. That's the call on the floor. Here's the verdict coming. Here's Mark Davis.
Upon review, it has been determined that the defender established a legal guarding position prior to the contact. Therefore, the offensive foul will stand. This is an unsuccessful challenge. This being their second time out to be charged with challenge, they have no additional timeouts.
I was surprised that they used their challenge. I thought that Neek for sure got there. He certainly took it in the chest. Now the question was he still moving a little bit like kind of from side to side? But great job by the rookie to step in and take that challenge. And he was well out of the restricted area. He anticipated it well, got there, and the Kings keep the ball.
Schroeder back in the ball game. Devin Carter also checking in here with just under 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. So Doug Christie, by necessity, going deep into his bench and using his bench liberally. Nice tip by Clifford to Sabonis. Hey, make sure he gets credit for the assist. Lead down to 9.
This is where the question mark with this team comes. The roster that's on the floor right now for Doug. It's just a size disadvantage, but Devin Carter, obviously a great defender. So is Keon Ellis.
Great change of pace, but he left that shot short. He's going to be whistled for the loose ball foul on Vit Krejci. Look at this tip, though, by the rookie.
Yeah, deflection right there, and then it falls into the hands of Domantas Sabonis. Way to stick with the play. Kings get some points in the paint.
Neek Clifford has been one of the bright spots, albeit it's still early in the season, but averaging 5.3 points per game. But beyond the numbers, he's showing a lot more confidence. And Doug Christie putting confidence in him. Daniels spins, had it deflected away, shot clock down to 5. Kennard to Daniels. Good defense by Carter. Kings on a string defensively, but Kennard, who led the league in three-point percentage a year ago, cashes out.
Yeah, that is one guy that you certainly have to be aware of where he's at. Close out hard to him and try not to help off of him in situations like that, but knowing that that's exactly what Quinn Snyder is trying to do, is put him in action where you're going to have to help.
Especially on that strong side corner. Clifford with a backdoor cut, out to Schroeder, one more. Ellis put a Kongwu on a flight like an IG model, put him in the air and cashed out.
And took his time getting up into that shot, lined it up, knocked it down.
3.5 minutes to go. Kongwu had it knocked away, but a foul, and Devin Carter posturing for a potential review. Foul is going to go against Schroeder. No, they call it on Carter, pardon me.
I was going to say Dennis Schroeder wasn't even in the
they're going to eschew the challenge. This will be a better angle.
So the hand is part of ball scenario. That's kind of
leathery.
Yeah, but he also had the hand on the hip, so that's where it gets questionable.
There you go. Kongwu knocks down the first foul shot for the Atlanta Hawks. Eubanks comes in for Sabonis. Kongwu, a 69% free throw shooter.
Drew Eubanks has been phenomenal over the last 4 or 5 games for Doug Christie, whether he's been in the starting lineup or whether he's come off the bench, just shooting amazingly effectively from the floor, but providing defense on the other end as well. So truly playing at a very high level right now.
At 19 last night against Denver, Schroeder out to Carter. Here's Ellis. Snakes the screen. 3 on the shot clock for Schroeder, and that 9-1-1 call answer. Boy, great to see him knock down an outside jump shot. Kennard rebounded by Eubanks, 1 and done for the Hawks. Kings with pace. Schroeder, pocket. And that's going to be real kick ball. Shot clock stays at 16. Tell you what, if you watched Eurobasket this summer, which I did, saw pretty much every game Germany played, Schroeder did that all summer long. He has hit, admittedly, a little bit of a stretch in which he's slumping.
I think playing as long as he did in the summer, also a little bit more fatigued than most guys.
Krejci out to Okongwu, deferred. Wallace, Kennard with 14 on the clock. Krejci. At 3, overcooked.
And an area where the Kings did really well last night is the second unit scoring.
Neon Keon knocks down the 3, and Sacramento back to within 5.
And they need to be able to have that success tonight against this second unit for the Atlanta Hawks. That's where they can gain a real advantage in this game.
Ellis getting early minutes here in the first quarter for Sacramento, unlike the previous couple of games where he came in the 4th. Kennard knocks it home. That's what he does. The lead back up to 8.
I mean, he could be fresh off the bench, doesn't even have a bead of sweat on his forehead, and you know that ball is going to go up fast, and more than likely he's going to knock it down.
Carter fouled on the drive. He's got a quickness advantage against Krejci and used it there, Katie, and drew the foul with 1:37 to go in the opening quarter. That's the first in the last 2 minutes against Atlanta. Sideline out of bounds. Sacramento basketball, but you pointed out a little bit earlier, this lineup right now, very small.
Very, very small, but it's a defensive-minded lineup, and they're quick, so you just got to gain your advantage as the Kings turn it over and the Hawks back in transition.
Boy, Kennard passed up a wide-open 3. Krejci with a free pass to the lane.
The communication in transition defense has not been good tonight. I mean, they've given up 2 open 3s, and that was an open layup in transition.
Carter on the baseline, trying to muscle his way in. Got the reverse to go. Had to earn that bucket, and he's on the board. 60 seconds to go in the opening frame. Okongwu had Schroeder in jail. Pinned, Katie.
That's what you call no move needed.
It's a big, I know you can appreciate that move when you got your defender right under the basket. At the other end, here's what happened, though.
You got to do your work early, but here's Devin Carter getting to work. He's getting down low, and just a shot fake right there to get those guys that have the size advantage on him just to be off balance enough for him to go up strong with that look.
Schroeder hits Eubanks with that loping hook, and what a tip! Interminable energy and follow by Neek Clifford.
That's just completely effort-based as Dennis Schroeder is pushed to the ground.
Okongwu trying to bully the shorter Schroeder again. And that one an offensive foul. That's going to be his second.
He was just trying to go from one side of the lane to the other, and Dennis Schroeder was planted it in his spot, and Okongwu thought that he could just move him a little bit and that he would give up ground. Dennis did not give up any ground.
Sacramento can get a 2-for-1 here. Schroeder with a deep three, laces it. And Dennis Schroeder with a couple of three-pointers in this opening quarter, looking extremely promising at the offensive end for him tonight.
8 points, quick ones to lead the Kings right now, and his shot looks pure.
I would hazard a guess this is his best quarter in the regular season so far, off to his best start. On the switch, Porzingis against Ellis, and that's going to be an offensive foul to a disbelieving Porzingis.
Listen, my nose was hurting for Keon's just seeing that matchup, because you knew just based on size alone, look where his face falls, right where his elbows naturally are, but he stuck with it right there and was ready for the contact.
Had a great conversation with Keon Ellis prior to tip tonight. He said, Jonesy, I ain't stressing. My time's gonna come. I'm just doing my best to stay ready. And he has been a consummate professional for these early season struggles for the team.
I think that players like Keon can weather these stretches a little bit better than a lot of the other guys in the NBA, because you look at Keon, he was undrafted. He worked his way up through the G League, and he did it the hard way. And so I think that, you know, he's already been through the struggles. He knows.
Carter, Westbrook slashing, got it at the buzzer. Great dime drop by Devin Carter. And the birthday boy cashes out at the end of the first 12 minutes of play as the Kings outscored the Hawks over the final 6 minutes, 24-12. Happy birthday to you. Back with the second after this.
You by River Rock Casino. Join us Saturday, November 15th for your chance to win up to $128,000.
Welcome back to Sacramento. Time now for our Roseville Auto Mall Driven to be the best. I'm going to take you back to November 18th, 2024 against, yes, this very team, the Atlanta Hawks here at Golden One Center, when Keon Ellis came off the bench and put up a career-high 33 points. He had 9 triples in that game so far. 6 points, two from deep. Had a good start.
Got to keep that momentum going. Here's Clifford. And rebounded by the Hawks. Wallace quickly up court to Kennard. They double team Porzingis, and beat Krejci, knocks down the long jump shot. Here's Carter, had some good moments in that opening quarter. Ellis. Schroeder out front had his best quarter so far this season with 8 points. Eubanks inside, Carter underneath, one more. One too many. And that's going to be a foul, a block against Neek Clifford.
Giving up what surely was going to be a bucket in transition, stopping that. There you see kind of the discombobulation offensively, takes it to the chest right there, but at least it's not a clear path or, you know, transition take foul. Kings get to set their defense, but that's been the problem. 12 first half fast break points for this Atlanta Hawks team, just 2 for the Kings, and that's where they need to try and clean it up here in the second.
What do you make of Sacramento's energy on the second night of a back-to-back here?
I think they're going, you know, deep into their bench, and they're going to have to. They've got guys that are out tonight, but so far, I think it's been solid. The question is, what's it going to look like in the fourth?
One and done at the offensive end. Clifford misfiring on the 3. As DeRozan and Westbrook get ready to come back into the ball game. Porzingis, the trailer, misfiring. Rebounded by Clifford. Schroeder on the wing against Krejci. Dennis Schroeder played for the Atlanta Hawks, was initially drafted by them. That 3, and Carter knocks it home.
Yeah, coming in, doing some really great stuff for Doug Christie. In a lineup I can guarantee you we have not seen on the floor together this season.
We've been saying that a lot. It's been a popular refrain this year.
Yes, you're right.
That 3 ball short, Schroeder on the move. Up to Carter, puts his head down. One more to Ellis. Carter relocates and stepped out of bounds. Mark Davis right there to make the call. And it'll come back Atlanta basketball. A couple of subs come in, DeRozan and Westbrook for Sacramento. Dyson Daniels comes back in. for
I'm
Atlanta.
okay with turnovers when you're going full speed.
Okay.
That's a dead ball turnover. You get to set your defense, so kind of the lesser of the two evils, if you will. But I think Devin's come in and he's trying to push pace. He's trying to do the right thing. He's working hard.
Good activity defensively by Ellis. That's what he does. One of the best on the team a year ago in steals and deflections. Carter going to buy and try another three. And Daniels will bring it across. Dyson Daniels, Tony, spent a lot of time in the gym this summer with Phil Handy, one of the best NBA coaches on the planet. Now on the Mavericks staff, working on his handle and his shot making. Because he's kind of got that defensive end of it solved already. Here's Westbrook behind the screen.
Too much standing. That's where you need to really.
Oh, Ellis had a little bit of food. Settle for the three. Carter with the rebound. Ellis again. Hey, let's make it 3 for a quarter. DeRozan takes it to the steal. No whistle.
Well, that's a travel. Oh my goodness.
So a 3-point lead as Wallace brings it into the front court. Got a whistle and a foul against Sacramento.
I think it's on Devin Carter. That's going to be his third foul.
Wow. He can't stay out of the chop shop early in the game. 8.5 minutes to go and he's picked up 3, but hey, you can't knock the hustle, right? His activity level
His activity level has been high, for sure.
Plowden comes into the ball game here for Sacramento. He was holding Porzingis like a rent check.
Yeah, he got cross-matched with him in transition. He's just trying to use physicality.
Good stretch of minutes, though, for Devin Carter. Remember, he missed most of his rookie season.
Yeah,
Here's Wallace.
First 34, 35 games after that shoulder surgery as Wallace is able to get in deep. And Keon Ellis kind of shrugs, trying to get that stop there.
That's Keaton, don't call me Kaysen, my brother Wallace. He's with OKC, the one with a ring. Ellis over to Plowden, one more to the corner. Great rotation. That line drive jumper never had a chance. Another possession and opportunity. They empty out the side for DeRozan. Sabonis had good position, but there he is again. The omnipresence of Dyson Daniels.
It was a split second too late.
Alexander Walker, good block by the Kings. Johnson for 3. Ball rolls harmlessly out of bounds. Still waiting for an indication. It'll be Atlanta basketball or jump ball.
Shea Flores just called a jump ball.
Take another look here.
Oh, it looked like it went off the foot
of Alexander Walker.
Yeah.
That view a little bit more inconclusive than the previous one, so they'll jump it up. Risache and Achua will check into the ball game respectively for Atlanta and Sacramento. Ellis comes out of the ball game at a good stretch. 12 minutes for Keon Ellis, 6 points, 1 assist, and this is why they need to redo box scores league-wide. They need to put more defensive variables in the box score, like keeping your man in front of you defensively, and deflections and steals. Well, they got steals, but deflections.
Just adding deflections would be a massive.
Or making your man pick the ball up.
Yeah.
5-point lead for the Hawks. If you're just joining us, Sacramento shorthanded tonight without Zach LaVine, their leading scorer, and Malik Monk. Of course, Keegan Murray has not played this year in the regular season. He's soon to be reevaluated, coming off of surgery as Sabonis missed one inside. Alexander Walker into the front court, little machine gun dribble. Back to Okongwu, shooting the 3 more frequently. If you don't believe me, there it is. The lead back up to 8 for Atlanta. Sabonis sets the screen, and that's going to be an offensive foul on the light touch. That's a second foul against Sabonis. Here's a look.
The Kings had a really great flow going several minutes ago, and it is completely dissipated right now, and there's a lot of fouls, there's a lot of turnovers, things like that, and I don't feel like they're finding much of a rhythm at the moment.
Alexander Walker inside. Jalen Johnson said that with all of his chest. Rubbed that dunk in over Achua. And the lead swells to 10 for Atlanta with 6:45 to go in the first half. It's Westbrook, DeRozan, Achua, Sabonis, and Plowden on the floor for Sacramento. Off the Achua screen. Plowden in the corner for three. And it's all Atlanta jerseys. Johnson bounced past the Ricochet. And Alexander Walker.
That's going to be a foul on Ricochet.
Foul, yeah.
Yeah.
Not allowed to turn your hip and take out the defender. That's what he did. Got a timeout on the floor called by Doug Christie in Sacramento. Kings trailing by 10 here in the second. City Edition jersey is here, a remix of the fan favorite 2022-23 Gray City Edition uniform, reimagined with deep ink purple and bright violet inspired by the team. Visit kingsteamstore.com/city to shop the new threads today. As we welcome you back to Goldman One Center, Mark Jones courtside with Katie Christensen. And as I mentioned a moment ago, Zach LaVine out with a thigh contusion, Malik with a bad wheel and ankle, and Keegan Murray soon to be reevaluated coming off of thumb surgery. See what they run coming out of that timeout.
Feels like it's something different every single night. Just trying to find lineups and combinations that you can get something out of as the Kings able to thankfully convert out of the timeout.
Achua's been pretty impactful since joining this team just several days ago, really, in the big picture.
Well, you don't have to draw plays up for him. He does all the little things. He's gonna, rebound for you, defend, get on the offensive boards.
Westbrook going to try and walk down Alexander Walker, and Russell Westbrook feeling very young and spry and light on his 37th birthday.
Well, and Alexander Walker looked at him and smiled real big as he was running up the floor with the coy look on his face.
Jalen Johnson knocks down the three to make it an 11-point Atlanta lead, their largest of the ball game.
This is a team that a couple nights ago against Clippers couldn't find the bottom of the basket from the perimeter. I think they started 1 of 11.
Yeah.
Tonight they're 9 of 19 and just past the midway point of the second quarter. And I feel like this is just a common theme that we've seen with opponents.
Plowden picking up Alexander Walker, three-quarter court. You can turn your man even just twice. They're doing something to take some time off the shot clock.
Yeah, even if it just slows them up a little bit, Westbrook going to get that foul there. But yeah, even if there are 2 or 4 seconds left to work with on the shot clock, it makes a difference defensively.
Westbrook having a impassioned conversation with Mark Davis right there. I was asking Russ what he got for his birthday. Tell me he had a chance to spend a little bit of time with his lovely bride, Nina Westbrook, and family a little bit earlier before his birthday and celebrate his birthday. He met his wife, Nina, at UCLA. She was a member of the women's basketball team there. And I got to tell you, she has a wonderful podcast.
Really?
That I've listened to a couple of times. I'm waiting for the next pod to drop. It's called the Do Tell Podcast. Nina Nina dispenses relationship advice. I'm not saying that I need a lot. I'm always willing to listen to improve the deal.
Yeah.
Been married for 26 years, and Nina's got some great ideas.
Let's check that out. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Westbrook had it knocked away. Daniels in the front court. Good transition defense. Johnson lays it in, and the lead is up to 14 for Atlanta. Here's Sabonis working off the elbow with Schroeder. He might have been better off trying to shoot the basketball, almost selfless to a fault. It'll be sideline out of bounds, Sacramento basketball. Down by 14. Rosen having a rather quiet offensive night, and they turn it over again. Johnson on the break, that's lethal. Jalen Johnson with the punch. The lead up to 16. Time to plug a few holes. We'll be right back after this. Ford Play of the Day. You know, only 2 players have recorded 200 or more steals in a single season since 2004-2005. And that's like the hand check rule, which kind of changed the math on a lot of things defensively. Chris Paul twice. Dyson Daniels last season with 229. You got to watch your pockets.
Yeah.
With that young man around.
How about Chris Paul doing it in back-to-back seasons, by the way?
People forget CP3 was a member of the all-defensive team for a few years in a row.
But, man, Dyson Daniels defensively is special. And I do think that he certainly is starting to expand his offensive arsenal.
And most consecutive games with a steal. Daniels passing Gary Payton. It's interesting, Payton, because Daniels was telling me prior to tip tonight, I asked him, who do you like watching in terms of players and how they play defense and kind of taking parts of their scheme? He said, GP2, interestingly enough. Yeah. And the other one was Herb Jones.
Oh, yeah. I love Herb Jones' defense. I'll be honest, Gary Payton II, great defensive player. I think if he were about 6 inches taller, it would be like a crazy level of defense. You know what I mean? Like being undersized, there's only so much you can do to a certain degree.
Right. And that's going to be a foul on the Nick Clifford jump shot. He'll get a couple of attempts. One more look at it here. Jalen Johnson got him right there on the wrist. It's going to be his second personal foul. First team foul against Atlanta in the second quarter. Sacramento with 3 team fouls. Clifford knocking down the first free throw. Seeing a lot of action here tonight. Coming into the game, he was 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Coming off a 5-point game last night against the Denver Nuggets.
It's wild that this is just the 8th total free throw attempted by both teams combined, and we've only got 4 minutes left in the half.
Good pressure defense out top by Schroeder on Alexander Walker. Carter trying to do the same against Daniels, now backs off. Good help by Sabonis, but they switch it. They switch back. Daniels had a notion on the 3, and the floater a little bit strong. Good sequence defensively for Sacramento. Carter with the pull. Schroeder with the rebound. He launches. Schroeder saw 2 go in earlier. Still looking for that next one. Boy, Jalen Johnson with an imperious drive to the bucket. Wow. He is impressive. Ellis working against Risachet. Second side action now. Schroeder back out to Clifford. Good show and go, 15-footer. Left it on the front rim. Alexander Walker on the drive. Well defended, but a better shot by Alexander Walker, the cousin of SGA, and now Atlanta in the middle of a 12-2 run. Carter to the rack. Well, the young guys getting an opportunity tonight with Clifford, Carter, and Ellis. Cross court, Daniels one more to Porzingis. Sabonis a little bit late, but it didn't prove to be costly. Up and down we go. What do you make of the pace here, Katie?
I think the pace is, for this group, it's fantastic. They haven't been able to convert. I think they're getting good looks, but Keon Ellis trying to change that.
All right, Neon Keon open for business. His second 3 ball of the night. He's up to 9. Give and go. Risachet with the punch. A little bit too easy at that end as we approach 2 minutes to go in the half. Under split action. Schroeder with a nice cut. Out to Ellis. Carter in the corner against Daniels. 5 on the clock. Spins, pivots. Gotta let loose. Ellis had to fire the grenade and didn't draw iron.
And twice you have where your outlet is that corner three-point shooter. When I believe it was Dennis Schroeder got all the way to the rim, Keon Ellis was going up the lane, should have stayed there in the corner, and then again at the end of that possession, and they had to take a difficult shot.
Great hustle by Sabonis. Domas missed the reverse. Here's Alexander Walker, stolen by Schroeder. Wonderful anticipation. Ellis. Boy, had a great look at it. Kings back in transition. Johnson got hacked on the arm and will go to the free throw line for a couple of attempts.
This Atlanta team wants to get up and down. They like the pace to be fast like this because they have a lot of lengthy, athletic guys.
Jalen Johnson will go to the free throw line. He was well on his way to winning the most improved player of the year, Katie, a season ago before suffering a season-ending shoulder surgery and missed the rest of the year. But spoke with him prior to the game tonight. He told me that his goal is for his team to make the conference finals, and he wants to be an all-star this year. And he put in a lot of work with his trainer out in Southern California, Chris Johnson, one of the best in the business. Every All-Star year so far at All-Star break, he jumps on a plane and gets right into the gym. This year he plans to be one of the Eastern Conference All-Stars. And he's a big part of what Quinn Snyder is planning for the Hawks' future.
Well, he's leading the team right now in scoring with over 20 a game. Obviously, Trae Young has been injured as of late, but you can tell by the contract they gave him, a 5-year, $150 million deal. They value him as a very important piece of their future.
I hope he's not a vegan because he's got a lot of bread there to deal with. Ellis out top, Sabonis setting the screen. 1 minute to go in the first half. Westbrook pulls the three ball. That's a little bit short. The Kings back defensively. Give me a kick ball out of bounds. Good hustle by Ellis. 54 seconds to go in the half. Here's a look at it. Off the foot of Ellis twice. Little pressure by Nee Clifford. Daniels with the left. Risache pulls it out. Alexander Walker. Missed it, followed by Daniels, rebounded Sabonis. Almost had it knocked away. Here's Schroeder back to Sabonis. Oh, that's going to be a kick ball out of bounds.
They just never really quite got a hold of that solidly on that possession. But they're going to get an opportunity for a sideline out of bounds here, and hopefully
back-to-back kick balls. We're not playing soccer here tonight, Katie.
Wrong sport.
Schroeder out front had a strong offensive first quarter. Has cooled off a little bit since, but showing signs tonight of breaking out of his offensive slump. Schroeder, nice find. Clifford missed the layup in traffic. 6 seconds to go. Schroeder, good hustle defensively, and that's what Doug Christie was talking about. As long as you get that kind of defensive effort, the offense, he's not worried about it. It'll come around eventually.
Because now they get to set their defense right now. 5.2 left on the shot clock. And
Johnson downhill. Porzingis fouled. And Clifford puts him on the free throw line with 0.8 to go in the first half. Kristaps Porzingis, part of that trade with the Boston Celtics. Remember last year towards the end of the season, he was unable to play a lot of games, including some playoff matchups, because of that mysterious respiratory illness that he was battling. Knocks down the free throw to make it a 20-point game with 0.8 to go. Porzingis' three-point numbers are off a little bit. But he's part of that collective that's doing it in the absence of Trae Young, as Atlanta will go into the locker room up 20 against Sacramento. The Kings trying to get some positive vibes back before hitting the road in this, the last game of this homestand. Facing an uphill climb in the second half. Trying to light that beam. Kyle and the crew with halftime highlights and analysis coming right up after this.
More hybrid models than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places.
California Capital, a glow at night, lit. As inside Golden One Center, Sacramento trailing by a score of 66-46. Give you a sky view as we welcome you into the Lazy Boy broadcast booth. Mark Jones courtside along with Katie Christensen. Glad you decided to tap in tonight as Sacramento tries to snap out of its 3-game losing streak before hitting the road for 5 games. Katie, always important when you can get your rhythm back and play well before leaving home. Sometimes it's measured on the scoreboard, sometimes it's not, sometimes both, but that second quarter proved to be a little bit of their undoing so far.
It was an issue, and really if you look at the whole first half as a whole, one area where they had a problem defensively was just defending that fast break. That is where this Atlanta Hawks team has done a brilliant job throughout the course of it. As you take a look at our fly cam presented by the Sacramento Airport, you got to be able to stop ball, pick it up early, and then they've just gotten downhill. They also gave up a couple uncontested threes in transition, but when you look at the different ways that they're getting their fast break points, you know, that is for sure, without a doubt, what Doug Christie and his staff talked to this Kings team about at the half.
Westbrook missed the layup off a great play call out of the quarter. Porzingis, Jalen Johnson make it 20 points for Jalen Johnson. You mentioned signed a 5-year for $150 million contract extension last summer. Averaging 20 points a game coming in. Achua wasn't expecting the pass from Schroeder. Schroeder got off to a great start in the game in the first quarter. Achua with the offensive rebound and put back and fouled in the process. He'll get a couple of shots.
Yeah, all 8 of Dennis Schroeder's points came in that first quarter. In fact, he didn't have any points or field goal attempts, I believe, in the second quarter. Getting downhill there, and there's Precious Achua gets fouled on the putback attempt. Precious
Achua started 10 games for the New York Knicks a season ago, coming from a winning environment. Western Conference finalist last year. He was part of that crew.
Well, and truly a part of a rotation that, you know, Tom Thibodeau, who was the coach at the time, played an incredibly short, you know, rotation. So he was a key piece to that.
Johnson will bring it across, bringing more of a playmaker and initiator this year for Atlanta. Gets it back from Daniels. Off into the corner, Risachet with 7 on the shot clock. Dyson Daniels out top, the switch to Sabonis. There's the mismatch, Porzingis against Westbrook. And Sacramento gets the stop and the defensive board. DeRozan in the front court.
I would like to see them touch paint. They had 24 points in the paint in that first half. Now, 4 points in the second quarter in the paint. I mean, that is something that is so important. You've got Domantas Sabonis, you've got DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook. These are guys that they can get inside and be very, very effective.
Risachet goes screens. Porzingis from 15, got it. Sacramento up down 70-47. Westbrook on the blow-by, finds Sabonis in traffic and got it blocked. Jalen Johnson on the move. Daniels inside, and he draws the hit. Dyson Daniels will go to the foul line. Boy, they're really hitting the open man tonight.
They really are. They're doing a great job moving the ball, and that's something that Porzingis can do. He likes to be on that three-point line, but he'll put it on the deck. A couple dribbles, pull up as Dyson Daniel finds himself at the free throw line.
Take one more look at that foul that put him there. Daniels coming off a 6-point game a couple of nights ago. DeRozan clearly hitting him on the arm. Daniels knocks down the second free throw, a 61% free throw shooter. Here's DeRozan. Alexander Walker with good hands knocks it away. Daniels, room service, and a timeout called by Doug Christie. Tough start to the third quarter for Sacramento.
By Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters for over 35 years in the Folsom Auto Mall. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Hey folks, take the Kings on the go this season and stream the games on NBC Sports app. Brought to you by Toyota. Scan the QR code now to start streaming. Get all the great Sacramento Kings action as the vicissitudes of the NBA's regular season play themselves out. Each game a different chapter in a long season. Renault checks into the ball game, another one of the Kings rookies. Missed that little floater. On the outlet, Ricochet in full flight, punching it home with the left.
This fast team, so long, lanky, like to get up and down.
Carter touches paint. Well, they got a paint touch that time and took it into the lane at least, Katie. Good move by Carter, couldn't finish. Johnson fouled by Neek Clifford.
And Zachary Ricochet, my goodness, take a look in our Sacramento Airport fly cam. Just elevates up over the top, so quick up the floor, gliding in for the dunk there.
Jalen Johnson back at the foul line for the Atlanta Hawks. Johnson coming off a 16-point game a couple of nights ago in their win against the Clippers, who are struggling right now. He leads the Hawks in scoring at 20.1 points per game.
Well, and this is an opportunity for this group on the floor for Doug Christie. I mean, he pretty much has all of his second and third unit guys on the floor right now against the starters for the Hawks.
Any opportunity to get on the floor is an opportunity to cement some minutes for yourselves as Keon Ellis knocks down the three. Ellis has been a bright light tonight, 4 of 8 from deep. Got 12 points and playing his brand of defense.
Most important thing for them to do right now is just communicate and play with each other. Really nice, solid action on the offensive end. If you move the ball, if you play with each other, play within the system, you're going to get a high percentage shot.
This is a small lineup, and Porzingis shoots right over the top of Clifford that time. 8.5 to go in the third.
And it's not often you see Porzingis really opting to operate down below, but you see the mismatch and he goes to take advantage.
He meets Carter at the level. Nice in and out cross by Devin Carter. And rebounded by Dyson Daniels. Alexander Walker had a notion, steps back to shoot it. And Renault with the board. Here's Clifford. Bounce pass to Ellis. What a find. And we got an offensive foul that's going to be called against Keon Ellis. It's going to be his second personal foul, second team foul against Sacramento.
And they're calling it right here, just on kind of that screen off on Dyson Daniels. Yeah.
Yep.
Just a little bit too much outside the
little body.
Outside the bounds there. Yeah.
Porzingis working against the rookie Renault, and a welcome to the NBA Rook moment for Renault. Clifford sprays it out to Carter. One more. Plowden for three. Short. Renault underneath with the offensive putback.
Nice activity, and I like the ball movement. Switch from side to side.
Alexander Walker missed with the left. Got it back. Gets 2 for a quarter. He got the second one to fall. It's 83-52. The delay action by Renaud into the corner. Clifford. Nice show and go. Plowden inside, got stripped. Risacher up to Porzingis, back to Risacher. It's 85-52. Sacramento right now, stuck like Chuck, without a buck. Dean Tour to Golden One Center tomorrow, November 13th. With his reputation for epic live shows and a leave it all on the stage mentality, the country music powerhouse is sure to deliver a night you won't forget. Get your tickets now at goldenoncenter.com. Do you have Eric Church on your playlist?
I love Eric Church. I love Eric Church. And we, you know, we always miss the concerts because we go on the road. We leave tomorrow.
Funny how that works.
Yes.
Huh? So I'm going to miss your birthday again.
I know, our birthday, sir. And
we share the same birthday.
There's Max, the rookie.
Yep.
Getting a little playing time here tonight. Has on this homestand. His parents, Philip and Vanessa, are visiting from France. Nice. And they were here, got the opportunity to be here for this entire homestand. Came down and introduced themselves to us the other day. Just the nicest people. It's so wild to know, like, his dad didn't play basketball at all. It was his mom that played basketball, and that's where he got it from. So they're enjoying their time here in Sacramento before they head back to France.
Great to have family around and massage some of the recent disappointment.
And Domas.
Wow, he got hit in the neck.
In the neck. I mean, he. As long as it's not the ribs at this point, I guess, is a good way to look at it.
Sideline out of bounds, Sacramento. Devin Carter to trigger on the floor with Ellis, Sabonis, Clifford, and Schroeder. Schroeder with, Clifford with a mismatch. Out to Ellis. Quick pull. Boy, Neon Keon on point tonight.
And
he is locked in.
That is his 5th triple, 5 of 9 from downtown. The Kings are 8 of 25 as a group. I mean, majority of it coming from Keon Ellis, as again, this Atlanta Hawks team able to get all the way to the rim. But without Zach LaVine, without Malik Monk, a lot of the three-point shooting for the Kings unavailable tonight.
Devin Carter, straightaway three, no good. Alexander Walker with a rebound approaching the midway point of the third quarter. Jalen Johnson inside. Alexander Walker fouled on the attempt. Will go to the free throw line for a couple of shots.
Sonique did a great job of being in the right position, but the lesson in that right there is that you can't lose track of the ball. So he turned his head and lost track of the ball. He was in the perfect position to get that steal, but instead ended up with the foul.
Ball you men, right, Katie?
Yeah, yeah, just like that.
Heard that repeated by coaches all the time. And now, quick word from the Humboldt Lodging Alliance. Alexander Walker knocked down a couple of foul shots. Westbrook back into the ball game for Sacramento. Pocket pass to Sabonis, and he turned up the base that time. Domas makes it 89-57.
Kings in his own defense right now, giving it a little different look.
We haven't seen much of it. That's going to be an offensive foul. You can't say you drop the guy off the dribble when you push him off like that.
Really, really nice shovel pass right there. Just threads the needle, a little one-handed bounce pass, and Domas is going to be ready to elevate, throw it down. The two-man game, that is where Domas really thrives, and we all know that Russ does an excellent job facilitating.
Russ looking baseline. Carter in rush hour traffic takes it back out. 10 on the shot clock, plenty of time. Schroeder puts his head down, left it on the rim. Everything but the bucket for Schroeder.
A little off balance, and Russ is going to take the foul here.
And Schroeder trying to get the attention of Mark Davis, the official. He thinks he was owed a foul call at the other end. That's going to be the second personal foul against Westbrook. Dyson Daniels out top. Okongwu. Fouled by Keon Ellis. 5:08 to go. Mike Bibby, head coach of Sacramento State. Stingers up for the Hornets. Played a tight game. I think it was just last night or the night before that. Mikey Williams is going to have an all-conference year for Mike Bibby. That's a young man I'm familiar with. Watched him work out down in Miami a couple of summers ago at Stan Remy's gym down there, and he was playing well with the pros, just 21 years old. And Mike telling me prior to tip that he's going to have a good year and looking forward to coaching him.
There's a lot of former Kings in the Sacramento area right now. Yeah, with their hands, their tentacles all over the Sacramento basketball.
If you're a collegiate point guard, why wouldn't you want to be coached
100%.
by Mike Bibby? Carter cross court to Schroeder. One more to Ellis. They run him off the three-point line. Contested midi comes off and rebounded by the ubiquitous Jalen Johnson.
And that is the first two-point field goal attempt as Richeche is going to get the and one opportunity.
Okay, he gave the shoulder shrug on Carter. I'd say you might want to pick on somebody your own size, but that's okay. And Carter is doing a little chin check there. He got hit in the mouth.
I think he bit his tongue. He takes the elbow, you see, right to the chin. Yeah, he definitely is bleeding.
Westbrook with the rebound. Makes the play call. With 4.5 to go, crossover. And Westbrook will get a couple of free throws. Well, the good news is that on a night like tonight so far that Westbrook maintains that boundless, limitless level of energy, which is always a good thing.
Well, that's the consistency he's brought to the game his entire life. You know, like that is one thing about him that you can never take away. He plays hard every single game. He comes and competes. He's passionate about the game. But I have to say, you know, call a spade a spade. This is the most lopsided game that we've seen in this season.
Yes.
Really, to me, a big problem that the Kings have had is just being able to play for 48 minutes. They've been in games through 3 quarters. It's the fourth quarter that's really gotten them. And I'm not going to use the excuse of a second night of a back-to-back. I'm not going to use the excuse of all of the injuries that they have. These are all realities to the situation. But everyone is dealing with this in a variety of different ways.
Okongwu hands it off to Kennard. Daniels lines up the 3. That's the one component of his game that he's still working on. Vic Krejci. Daniels on the cut, knocked away nicely by DeRozan, who gets the steal. Quickly to Sabonis. Schroeder on the break. And he's fouled by Vic Krejci. Dennis Schroeder will go to the free throw line for a couple of attempts. Still stuck on 8 points. Well, Sacramento can look forward to sometime in the near future having Keegan Murray evaluated and subsequently back on the floor. Has not played yet in the season because of that thumb injury that he had surgery on. One more look at the foul by Krejci. Put Schroeder on the free throw line. I was speaking to Schroeder prior to the game and I asked him, hey Dennis, how do you get yourself going sometimes? I asked him, I said, what do you have in your earphones right now? Are you listening to some NBA Youngboy, some Lil Baby? What is it? I said, how about some German rap? You need to bring me some German rap music. He said he would. He said he would. He said sometimes he puts that on, you know, in his headphones to get going as well.
Hey, I'll probably know that just as well as I know the other ones you mentioned.
Okongwu couldn't get a hold of that pass. I'll shoot you my playlist, Katie. Get you up to speed.
I'm gonna need it. My goodness.
93 to 59. Westbrook. Over to Schroeder. Kicks it out to DeRozan, who draws the foul on the baseline. They'll count it.
Yeah, and DeMar DeRozan, just 4 points for him tonight. Just his second field goal. He's played 15 minutes in this game.
As DeRozan goes to the free throw line, Ellis getting ready to come back into the ball game. They wiped off the bucket. It's going to be 2 free throws instead.
All right. So just 1 field goal for him in this game. He's 1 of 6 from the floor.
Foul against Krejci. There's a look at the numbers tonight on DeRozan, who came into this contest averaging 21 a game for Sacramento. A bloodied Devin Carter will come out as Keon Ellis comes in. And if you're looking for a beacon on the evening, number 23, Keon Ellis, would be it so far. He has gotten the requisite amount of minutes to prove his impact. 15 points. Shot the ball well and defended well, picking up three-quarter court here along with Schroeder. Wallace gets turned a couple of times and brings it across. Okongwu. Sabonis switches on to Krejci. 7 on the shot clock. Okongwu with the float game, got it.
Really, really quick move by him. I thought that Keon Ellis was doing a great job of not really allowing himself to be sealed, but as soon as Okongwu caught it, he put it on the deck and spun and went. And Russell Westbrook coming down and answering back with a triple. The Kings not shooting the ball incredibly well from deep. It has been pretty much Keon Ellis, but Russell Westbrook getting involved in the action.
And Kennard with an easy lane to the bucket. Ellis working against Krejci. Sabonis with the DHO. Schroeder cut off out to DeRozan. Shot clock at 10. Gonna walk down Kennard, but the double team came. Ellis with the pull-up 3. Schroeder picks up the ball. Wallace. Good show by Sabonis. Got back to his man, and they get the miss out of it. Good effort that time by Sabonis, right, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, he's been having to cover a lot of ground right there. Whenever you're involved in that high pick and roll action or up on the side, and then you've got to recover out to a big, it's a lot of ground to make up.
Approaching 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Westbrook turns it over. 2-on-1 the other way. Kennard decides to pull it out. Krejci the trailer, and tipped out of bounds by DeRozan. It'll be baseline out of bounds. Atlanta Hawks basketball. After this game tonight, Atlanta will get on the charter and take on Utah. And then subsequent to that, finish off their road trip in the desert against the Suns.
It's bizarre how different travel is depending on where you live in the country. They're in the midst of what ties for their longest road trip of the season, and it's 4 games. They do it twice. The Kings are about to leave tomorrow for a 5-game road trip, and that's not even their longest.
Westbrook for 3. Block out and a foul underneath against Krejci.
Krejci was holding him like a grudge.
Yes,
My goodness, he had him all locked up.
You see the padding underneath Sabonis's uniform, protecting the tender rib area that he injured a couple of games ago.
And quite honestly, I question what it does. I mean, it protects you from a direct blow, like a sharp elbow or something like that. But I mean, just moving is painful, and he is completely wrapped up there by V. A lot of where I feel like it can impact you is when you're reaching for rebounds, which is obviously something Domantas Sabonis does quite a bit, but also, you know, your finishes, right? When you're elevating to finish and you're stretching from one side and compressing on the other, like he is going to be feeling that for some time. That is not something that heals quickly.
Ball tipped out of bounds. 81 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Sacramento with a daunting climb ahead. Westbrook, Ellis, Sabonis, DeRozan, and Schroeder, the 5 on the floor. And they turn it over. Keaton Wallace with the lefty lay and finish. Schroeder rejects the screen. Ellis on the cut, got it to Ball. Nice off-ball cut by Keon Ellis, who's having his best night of the regular season so far. Keaton Wallace. Pete Krejci laces the 3.
So that in essence is very similar to what Keon Ellis got called as a foul earlier on shielding off a defender from going out to contest a 3-point shot. Russell Westbrook can't get downhill, doesn't get the call, and they're out to the races again.
Krejci, that's 2 in a row. And the beat goes on for the Atlanta Hawks. Schroeder out front. Sabonis sets the screen. There's the pocket pass. Tried to make one more to Ellis, and it's picked off. And that'll do it for the third quarter. Atlanta leading 105-68. Frustration etched across the countenance of Kings players and about 17,000 other people here at Golden One. Back after this. Gen Wi-Fi at one consistent price for the next 5 years with the Xfinity 5-year guarantee. Back for the final 12 minutes here at Golden One Center. In what has been, if we're being honest with full disclosure tonight, an uninspiring performance so far. The bright light is the guy on your screen right there, Keon Ellis, with 17 points, 1 assist, and has shot the ball extremely well. And it's ironic that in speaking with him prior to tip-off tonight, asking about the fans chanting his name and wondering about his minutes, he says, "Mark, I ain't stressed. I'm just going to be ready whenever Doug calls on me." And he's been ready tonight as Kennard gets the layup underneath.
And Plowden and Neek just miscommunication on that screen action on the side, and easy bucket for Atlanta. I would assume that this is going to be the group we're going to see for the closing 12 minutes.
Clifford, one of the rookies inspiring some hope tonight, knocks down the 3 ball. Clifford getting a lot of run tonight. 3 of 8, 9 points. You can bet that the discerning eyes of the coaching staff watching everybody every minute and examining their performance, because this is really a moment of opportunity for guys.
These are valuable minutes for the guys that are out there on the floor right now, no matter how you look at it. And Neek Clifford is someone who's been a part of the regular rotation, but this is a time for him to shine and try and show what he can do offensively as well. But I'm gonna say this, like, we played the sound from last night's game that offense isn't the problem. Right. Clearly, the Kings have struggled offensively here tonight. I don't think Doug cares about that. I think Doug cares about the fact that there is 11 minutes left in this game and they've given up 108 points to Atlanta. So where this is an opportunity for you to showcase yourself offensively, you better figure out that the way to impress him is on the defensive side of the ball.
He has been very pointed in his messaging to the players on this team about what he wants to see from them from game to game. Ellis sprays it out to Plowden. One more Clifford. Shot clock at 7 for Clifford inside. Great find to Renault, who couldn't squeeze it. Comes out to Okongwu. Sacramento has turned it over 17 times tonight. It's led to 18 points for Atlanta. There's a mismatch. Okongwu working against Ellis. Ellis says, "Don't call it a mismatch, Mark." Fighting and battling defensively. Ellis knocked it out of bounds.
And Doug is going to challenge it without even really looking at his coaching staff, just to reward Keon Ellis for the effort that he's putting forth.
And why wouldn't you? Ellis getting on the deck, quick hands, reaching in, knocking it away, and that looked to be off of Okongwu. We'll have the adjudication of the call on the challenge when we come back to Golden One Center. Welcome back. This Coach's Challenge is brought to you by Ashton & Price, Northern California's injury law firm. Mark Davis.
Upon review, the out-of-bounds decision has been overturned. The ball will be awarded to Sacramento. Sacramento will be charged a timeout, however, they have an additional challenge.
One more look at the great handiwork, literally and figuratively, of Keon Ellis. Talked about his story, undrafted out of Alabama, former two-way player with the Stockton Kings, Sacramento Kings, and signed to a standard contract last year. From Eustis, Florida, folks, he's gotten it out of that Florida mud. He's deserved and worked for everything that he's ever gotten.
Whoa!
Achua inside and a follow by Plowden.
Just showing off his leaping ability right there. Now, granted, he is a great three-point shooter. We've seen very little of him early in the season, but how about the hops?
Got to be impressed with that on the offensive glass. Okongwu goes glass. And they get 111-73, under 10 minutes to go in this game. Clifford on the handle. We're seeing him in Summer League, how he gave the coaching staff reason to believe he could be a primary ball handler at some point, as Plowden misses the long jump shot. Nick Clifford with an abundance of skills. One more look at what Plowden did on the glass, though.
And Precious putting it on the deck, going all the way to the rim. And look at the crash from Plowden coming in from that wing, elevating over everyone else for the finish.
Krejci on the wing. Okongwu. Porzingis off the exit screen, knocks down the three.
That was a heck of a release. Wow. Super quick.
I know no one's getting up there to block it.
No. And it also doesn't have a lot of air underneath it.
A lot of people feel that Atlanta won the offseason in terms of being able to acquire some great pieces. Renault inside, lost the handle, taken away by Keaton Wallace. Luke Kennard with the quick trigger. Tipped up by Porzingis and controlled by the Kings. Here's Ellis. Over Okongwu. Baseline drift over to Okongwu, got the three.
And they have just shot the mess out of the ball all
they?
night long. 62% from the field. The Kings, on the other hand, this is by far the worst offensive performance of the early season. Shoot 35%.
Ellis went around the world and shook his defender.
And it's really been Keon Ellis that has been the bright spot offensively for this Sacramento Kings team. He's got 20 points, 6 of 12 from downtown. The summary is brought to you by Toyota. And let's talk about Jalen Johnson. In less than 24 minutes, he put up 24 points, 10 rebounds, flirting with that triple-double. He will not see the floor again as this Atlanta team has a healthy lead over the Kings. But Keon Ellis has been the bright spot for Doug Christie. Coming off the bench, he's got 20 points to lead all scorers for the Kings. 6 of 12 from downtown. But really, the fast break points for this Atlanta team has been the story of the game. A 31-3 advantage, a big part of the reason they're shooting 62% from the field.
Yeah, they are in that express lane on I-80 tonight. Whistling a foul against Renault. With mom and dad watching in the stands in Sacramento for the next little while. Always nice to get family visiting, especially when they're coming from overseas. Spend a little time, and there's some French restaurants right down on, I think, Jay and
Unless they serve chicken nuggets, I'm not aware of anything like that. I don't have that luxury
I got to get you out a little bit more,
Yes, I know.
Katie.
Yes. I will say this, though, from talking to them, it's so
Right.
nice that they can come out. I know as a rookie, you want your parents, obviously to experience it, but they said they're also going to get an opportunity when we're out on the East Coast.
Right.
That's a much shorter trip for them, so I know it's nice to have Ma and Pops here.
Cross-court find. Mo Gay from the corner, a little bit strong. And Kennard didn't get it off in time. They did not draw iron on the previous attempt. So it'll be Kings basketball. 7:35 to go. Doug McDermott on the floor with Achua, Renaud.
This is the
Loudon.
first action for Doug McDermott this season.
Maxime a little bit strong on the 3 attempt. We'll come back to Atlanta basketball. Kennard off the wide action. Back out top to Keaton Wallace. A rare miss from deep for Atlanta. They've shot 45% from beyond the arc tonight. There's the step-up screen from Maxime. Back out to Achua. Spins, tied up, got it off, and miraculously made the lefty lay.
That's
Wow.
just saying I lift more weights than you.
Yes. Off to the wing, Houston. Achua with the defensive board. Brings it across with pace. Back out to Clifford. Achua into the corner. McDermott with the quick release knocks down the 3.
I don't think that Doug McDermott has played in a game since maybe last March, maybe April if we're being generous. And first touch, that baby goes down. One of the best three-point shooters through his career in the league.
You don't need to put him in the microwave. He comes in ready to cook.
My goodness.
Renaud on top. And they turned it over to Houston. Whistle and a foul. Noah will go to the free throw line. Renaud trying to get his rhythm. There he is communicating with Doug McDermott. One of the great things about Renaud, the rookie, is that, when you're around the team, and I've watched him in practices and scrimmages and live action in games, he is a very able communicator, and that's an important part of playing that position when you're the big man, the low man defensively, anchoring the defense. And not a lot of young players come into the league with that kind of skill. It is a skill set, and one that is valued by the Kings coaching staff.
It is so important for defenders to know that whoever is the deepest is constantly communicating and talking and calling things out. And you're right, it is hard a lot of times for rookies, but you just gotta, that's where you can really gain a lot of trust.
There's Max right there, had that one roll off. Achua with the cleanup. Okay, the restaurant is Brasserie du Monde.
Ooh.
It's on 12th and K in downtown Sacramento.
Do they have good escargot?
I've eaten there with my wife, and it's got delicious French cuisine. I'm going to make sure that Max and his family get hooked up there.
You're
Clifford with the
send
rebound.
me that information. I need a night out, let's be honest.
Inside for Max, made a good catch in traffic. Got the lefty lay and one. Off the jump hook, actually. So Max eating inside.
Just rim running, doing a good job of getting all the way down, getting that defense behind him deep, gets the seal. Nice job by Neek right there to feed the big. Feeds it to him up high, keep it high, finish it.
He was the only player in NCAA collegiate basketball last year to average 20 points and 10 rebounds per game. And he completes the three-point play. Thinking that he and we've talked about getting our podcast in French for our French viewers across the pond. Gay Out to beat Krejci. And if you work on your French, Katie, you can come on our podcast too.
I'll tell you what, there's not anything I can add for you, my friend.
Oh, Precious Achiuwa takes it 94 feet. And it's 122.88. Within 5 minutes to go. Bottom on the ball against Wallace. Houston knocks down the three from the wing. That's Atlanta's 15th three ball tonight, shooting 43%.
And they've got 39 assists in this game, and that just tells you that they're moving the ball, and they're so completely different without Trae Young. And when you look at their win percentage throughout the course of Trae Young's career with him on the floor versus with him off the floor,
Okay.
it actually is better without him. And there's a lot to be said about this upcoming summer for Atlanta and the direction that they're going to take in terms of Trae Young. That has been I feel like it's been a topic of conversation every offseason, around the trade deadline every year, is that he's been their cornerstone, but they haven't been able to build a winning team around him. So what's the problem? Are they the problem, or is he the problem? So, you know, big questions for this franchise.
I am not going to make that leap, though, and say that they are better without him. That is by far from the truth. Achiuwa tries to do a little body snatching at the rim.
I think the hard thing this day and age is we rely so heavily on analytics and stats and numbers. But you can see that clearly Atlanta feels that they are better with him, despite whatever statistics are, you know, available for wins versus losses when he's available and unavailable.
My brother told me earlier today that analytics are like bathing suits. They don't show you everything. They don't show you everything, and they don't always tell you everything you need to know.
Oh,
Especially the important stuff.
I like that. I like that. Brother is a smart man.
The wisdom of Paul Jones, Raptors announcer. Here's Beat Krejci from deep. And that'll come back the other way with 3:22 to go. Doug Christie still making play calls on the sidelines. Staying with it, making sure that this team is trying to execute, and albeit in a learning situation here, get something out of these last few moments, as Renault is getting. The only way for the young guys to get better is to get some real tick, some real run. Caleb Houston steps out of bounds, actually walked with it. One more look at Renault.
He's getting some nice deep seals underneath. Lost the defender right there, waiting for the ball. Looks it into his hand. Easy finish.
Clifford cross court. Achiuwa drives the closeout, and he draws the foul on the layup. So Precious Achiuwa going to the free throw line.
You know, this has been an off night offensively for the Kings, and as we talked about earlier, this has not been a huge issue. It's been the defensive end, but if you're going to clean things up, where a shooter receives the pass is very important.
Yes.
If you have to go down to your shins to receive a pass, you're taking away any advantage that has been created offensively. And then it puts you in this thing where you got to dribble penetrate, you don't have a clean open shot, and you kind of, you know, are constantly looking to gain an advantage, when it's as simple as making sure that when you pass the ball to someone, that it is a pass that they can catch and immediately shoot if that's the best option.
Hit them right in the shooting pocket, and it usually pays off.
Well, and it also allows them to either quickly put it on the deck, gain the advantage with the step. So there are a lot of little things to me that I think the Kings could clean up that can help them.
It's going to be an offensive foul against the Hawks. And now a quick word from Jack in the Box.
The best rated burger in fast food with more beef than a Big Mac. Keep up, Ronald.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Christie makes the play call. Carter with a deep contested three, a little bit strong. pick up the ball in transition. And that is Atlanta's 16th three-pointer of the night. Newell knocked that one down. Doug McDermott with his second three ball.
All he's got to do is touch it. That's all he's got.
It was great a moment ago prior to tip-off tonight. Doug McDermott had a moment to share some time with Kyle Korver, two of the best shooters to ever do it out of that school. Kyle Korver, a member of the Atlanta Hawks front office. That one a little bit short by McDermott, but I walked up to both of them and said, man, there's a lot of threes standing right here. And I'm not talking about me either, as the three of us stood there.
Yeah, Kyle Korver could really find the bottom two, couldn't he?
And there's Devin Carter and one. Putting a little bit of muscle in his hustle as time winds down. Foul against Asa Newell, the rookie.
You know, Devin's done a really solid job tonight. He's played 20 minutes. That's his 7th point. Hasn't shot the ball incredibly well or efficiently, 3 of 11. But listen, he's got 6 boards and 3 assists. Like, he does a lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
He is an undersized guard that has 6 rebounds.
Rebounds well for his position. Knocked it out of bounds. And speaking about shooting a moment ago, Kyle Korver, one of the best three-point shooters to ever do it in the NBA, now a member of the front office, assistant general manager in Atlanta.
His hair's still perfect, isn't it?
You need to find out who his barber is.
I need to find out how he gets that kind of volume. That's
Rich
my problem,
it's rich berry juice from Africa. That's what does it.
Well, I don't know about the imports right now, so I'm just going to have to stay flat
it's
and boring. Yeah.
Jojoba oil. Oh, here's Clifford. Kyle Korver had a streak at one point, the longest streak of consecutive games with three-pointers made. The only reason I remember that he held the record because I did the game in which it ended on ESPN.
So you were the
seasons ago. Well, yeah, I'll take the hit for that. Kyle doesn't hold it against me. That's my guy. 40 seconds to go in the ball game. Devin Carter out top. Achua. Meet Clifford off the curl. Sprays it out to Carter. Sidestep three. Got a lot of air under it, and it splashes in. Sacramento Kings will fall to 3-9 on the season and hit the road for 5 games. The road will be imposing for Sacramento because you don't want to look at the winning record of the opponents that they play. It includes Minnesota, OKC,
San Antonio,
and
Memphis,
Denver.
Yes, yes.
That is a gauntlet. They will be walking the green mile in the next 5 games as they drop this one by a final verdict of 133-100. Keon Ellis leading the way for the Sacramento Kings. He was 7 of 14 from the field, 6 of 11 from deep. Ellis, a bright light tonight, and an otherwise disappointing evening for the Sacramento Kings, who dropped their 4th in a row. For Katie Christensen and our talented crew behind the camera you never get a chance to see, Jace Griggs and Mike Bird, I'm Mark Jones, saying Toyota Kings Postgame Live starts after the break.
Max